today. Let's begin with round 57, and it is the rest round. The title of today's lesson is the fifth dimensional light city and Shambala and importance of the meditation. There are the fifth dimensional light cities in the space over the Mount Shaster, as well as the Kobi Desert. And in the book 한민족의 비밀과 사명, The Secret and Mission of the Korean People, this book, it is mentioned that the future Korea will become the new heaven as well as the new land. It is mentioned in the Book of Levelation, 요한계시록 of the Bible too. In the deep place of the Himalayan mountains, there exists the capital city of the inner world of the earth, called Shambala. In the book, The Teachings for an Awakening Humanity 1, 예수 그리스도 메시지 1, this book, 예수 그리스도 메시지 1, the contents of which Jesus Christ sent to the residents of the global village. He emphasized the importance of the meditation. Next, light city or ether city, ether city. It is said that the earth will change from the present third dimension to the fifth dimension. And in this case, it is very interesting that a city does not need to be built on the surface of the earth. Of course, a city is made near the earth, but it does not need to be built on the surface of the earth. And houses or buildings are not built of the third dimensional hard material, but they will be made of ether in the air, ether in the air. First of all, let's read the chapter 21, verse 1 and 2 of the Revelation, 요한계시록 of the Bible. Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth. The former heaven and earth had passed away, and the sea was no more. I saw the holy city, a new Jerusalem, coming down out of the heaven from the God, prepared as a bride adorned for a husband. Well, this scene describes the rescue environment of the heaven after the disaster, and it is quite meaningful that a new Jerusalem, that is new land and sea, appears after the old land and sea disappears. It means the change of the natural surroundings as the third dimension changes itself into the fifth dimension. But it is hard to understand the expression that a new Jerusalem comes down from the heaven from the standpoint of the view of the common sense. Here, Jerusalem, which is in the heaven, can be thought to be a city which is made up of the fifth dimensional ether material. By the way, in the book 한민족의 비밀과 사명, The Secret and Mission of the Korean People, God, who had changed himself into human being, told about just this phrase of the Revelation to Mr. Kim Mo-gun. And he said that the new heaven and new land would be just Korea in the year of 언약, promise with the words 언약. Then he said that in the future paradise on the earth, all the countries of the world will find that all the things that they want to do will be achieved well through Korea. According to the channeling message, an ether city, like this Jerusalem is over Mount Shaster, situated in the California state of America. It is said that this city will come down to the surface of the earth after 2012. And you can understand this phenomenon when you think of the relationship between the New Jerusalem and this city. And according to the channeling message, the Kobi Desert of Mongolia was the sea at the time of the immemorial antiquity, a long, long time ago. And there was an island on the sea, which had a city in the center of it. The city was called Shambala, where the spiritual hierarchy or the Great White Brotherhood lived every day. As the sea was changed into the desert, that city of Shambhala is now over the desert, and therefore the city is in the air. Of course, there is another Shambhala in the cave under the Himalayan mountains, and it is said that some of the important policy is decided in Shambhala of Kobi Desert, but it is performed in the city of Shambhala of Himalayan mountains. On the other hand, another ether city, it is on one side of Mea Tranquilitas, the Sea of Tranquility, 고요바다 in Korean, of the moon. And the name of the city is Viridium. Many fifth-dimensional light persons reside in this city, and they confer lots of good information on the visitors. By the way, what is interesting is that common people like us can visit this city. The method of doing this is that before we get asleep, we allude to ourselves the thought that we are sure to visit Viridium during our sleep. And when this illusion does well in sleep, our astral body can fly to the city of Viridium. These light cities have been built of crystal and jewel, and so as we see these sort of houses in the books of fairy tale, the houses can be called the gorgeous dreamlike palaces. Archangel Michael says that these sort of light crystal houses will be built on the surface of the earth in the future. And if I write what it says in the book, Earth, the Cosmos, and New, 미카엘 대천사의 메시지예요. This book. It is as following. The city of angels is the undescribable twinkling heavenly pioneer city of New Jerusalem, and it is the model of it. In the future, the surface of the earth will be covered with this sort of the New Jerusalem. In other words, the future earth will be covered with the dreamlike palaces, and those gorgeous houses are the shape of the future paradise of the earth. Next, that which Sananda, or Jesus Christ, emphasizes most is the meditation. When we enter the high-dimensional world higher than the fifth dimension, in this case the fifth dimension is contained, as we leave the third dimensional and material world, it is said that Jesus Christ is commonly called Sananda. Sananda wrote 5 books recently, not by handwriting but by telepathic communication, and the books are being sold now in Korea. The titles of the books are 예수 그리스도 충전 메시지 1-2, New Teachings for an Awakening Message 1-2. 그 다음에 그리스도는 내면에서 탄생한다. The Christ is born in you. And 빛을 향한 내면의 길, inner path of the light. And 여러분 자신을 구하라, save yourself. I have introduced these books to you already. When you read these books, you may feel some fantastic reality of listening to Jesus Christ direct preaching, as if you are listening to him just near him. Therefore, these books can be called the new or modern Bibles. Well, let's look at the following picture. This is an imaginary picture of a house which is built of crystal in the inner world of the earth. Written by 박찬호, 2012, The Great Dimensional Change of the Earth and the Message from the Heaven. The book 2012 지구차원 대전함과 천상의 메시지들, page 354, 2, this book. And let's look at the next picture. This is a piece of imaginary imagery in which we can see a palace-like building of Shambala, the capital city of the inside world of the earth. It is in the book Tell Us One, this book. What he emphasizes emphatically in many pages of the book 그리스도의 Message 1, this book, is that we may as well have the transcendental meditation. In other words, this book says that it is good to sit in a tranquil atmosphere and recognize the inner self of us. Furthermore, it emphasizes that we had better face the transcendental existence, the God of the universe, or the Creator. This sort of mind-disciplining activity is a meditation, and he emphasizes repeatedly that the most important thing for us to be saved is this very meditation. And Jesus Christ advises us to have time for meditation in the ordinary churches, namely, we may as well have time for meditation sitting quietly even in a church. As a matter of fact, many churches in the Western societies perform this meditation. At this moment in the Western countries, it is said that a sort of boom, means popular syndrome activity, boom of meditation is undergoing now. And on the page of 136 in the book, New Teachings for an Awakening Humanity 1, 충격 Message 1, this book, we can read the following words. Have time for meditation and thinking over. Pray to the omnipotent origin and know distinctly that the awakened light persons will be helped with love and support. If you want to survive in a series of calamity, there's no less term of calamity to you, and if you want to go to the transformational term that leads you to the blissful millennium, it is necessary for you to get strong in communicating with your upper existence or the I am the presence. With all the methods, clean yourself. On the page 163 of this book, we can find another similar proposal. With the communication with your genuine soul, you can concentrate on the unselfish service and what ordinary people do not want to do. Therefore, meditation is a method of advancing much. On the page 164, this book says the following message. When you look for God in the quiet tranquility, you will go into the still atmosphere little by little, and you will become peaceful. Only by meditation you will achieve the most magnificent fulfillment of the simple as well as great truths among all the experiments of the universe. You will become the created light existence without worry or fear. You will become wise with peace. Momentarily, you will come in contact with your love, the genuine being of yourself. Jesus Christ's emphasis upon meditation can be seen on the page 205 of his book. Bear in your mind once more the fact that I have suggested to have the time of meditation at least once every day in order to be led to the God's voice existing in yourself. I will say about this fact repeatedly in the future too. The reason why I say about meditation repeatedly is the historical emergency that you are facing today, as well as my continuing love to you all. Here the word emergency seems to mean the polar shift and the following emergency in 2012. Jesus Christ continues to say, when you set up a system of communication that connects your humane self and your soul as well as the higher level of yourself through the everyday meditation and specific time in which you sit alone, the light that can be seen with the only soul eye can be made really. However, that communication system cannot be made at one night. So far as they do not depend all of the things on the heaven or God, or they do not vibrate in the high frequency, their advancing process will be very slow. When this bridge communication system is made from your practical energy, the method change of understanding things around you will appear little by little in your life. It will not take more than 1 year to make yourself more peaceful and to attain the comprehensive sight and the best form of everyday life. Sananda continues to emphasize the importance of meditation. Let's look at page 306 of this book. Try to recognize the fact that love, truth, and the visible world of light are prepared for those who have chosen those things and who are worthy of receiving them, namely, those people are the workers for light. Those who do not invest their effort to meditation every day, and those who do not share experience with other persons will not have the advanced level of opportunity and the advancement of their soul. The book emphasizes the importance of meditation on many other pages too. The activity of our meditation in the Pacific and lonely world of ourselves is just the same thing that Gyagam Namsago emphasized much in his book, Gyagam Nyurok. Gyagam emphasized the importance of mind discipline too. The various ways of meditation that I introduce in my lecture is just the same meaning as Jesus Christ's emphasis. Now let's look at the following picture. This is a recent image of Jesus Christ. The story of this portrait is written minutely on the page 72 of the book 예수 그리스도 Message 2, New Teachings for an Awakening Humanity 2, this book. It is said that this picture was drawn by an alarming painter, Nanette Christ Johnson, who has some astonishing artistic talent. It was 3 days before the Resurrection Day in 1986 that Sananda, Jesus Christ, appeared over her easel. Easel means easel, a board on which to draw a picture. She finished drawing this portrait within only 3 days. Well, let's look at the following picture. In this picture, some members of FCC, Federal Communications Commission of USA, have a meeting of meditation on the lawn. New Teachings for an Awakening Humanity. 충격 메시지 1. 충격 메시지 1. Page 288. And next. These days, there are many famous persons who practice meditation in the Western society, like Hollywood movie star Richard Gere, Harrison Ford, Keanu Charles, Levis, Eddie Murphy, Whoopi Goldberg, Jim Carrey, and Steven Seagal. Other noted persons are actress Demi Moore, Sharon Stone, Gwyneth Paltrow, and singer Madonna, Chairman Bill Ford of the Ford Automobile Company, movie director David Case Lynch, the ex-Vice President Al Gore, the ex-Foreign Minister Hillary Rodham, especially Al Gore said, as a Christian, I pray to God, but I evaluate the importance of meditation high. It's on page 227 of the same book. Well, now, I have finished all the 57 rounds. If you have watched all my lectures, I think that you have solved nearly all the spiritual questions which you had got in the past times. For example, you might have got the following questions. How are the body and mind of the human being combined together? Or, where are the heaven and hell? And what's the reason that they are invisible to us? Or, how is different the fourth dimensional as well as the temporal heaven from the fifth dimensional heaven, where the human beings live infinitely without death? And what is the reason that the two kinds of heaven are combined together, duplicated together? Is the theory of the reincarnation the genuine truth? Is there only one universe, or are there lots of universes? What is the reason that both the theory of the creation and that of the evolution are true at the same time? And why can they coexist simultaneously? What is the principle of the supernatural phenomena which the various sources of religion uttered in these past times? I say that thanks to the comprehensive mind discipline which I have created, and now I suggest it to the people, we can go back to the age of 20s or 30s, and we can live until the age of 1000 or 2000, which is the average lifespan of the Aryans. And ultimately, we can enter the road that leads us to the destination of the infinite and or everlasting life. Is it true? Etc. Well, at any rate, I think that you have solved the spiritual problems thanks to my lecture, which has been done up till now. Here, the fundamental standpoint concerning the spirituality is the transcendental or the trans-sectarian religion, 차종교 in Korean. And briefly speaking, my standpoint is following. First, as I pursue the transcendental religion, I do not belong to any special religious group, and I respect very much all kinds of religion that exist on the earth. Second, even though I suggest a sort of religion, I do not pursue any religious sect or group. And so I show the universal genuine truth, which would not change in 100 years or 10 million years or much longer years to all the people of the global village through the transmitter of the internet or the handphone. Then if you ask me what the symbol of the transcendental religion, which is not any face of the systematic group, and how you can worship toward God, I will answer as following. The symbol is the Korean national flag 태극기, which symbolizes the God of the Korean people as well as the God of the universe. And the type of worship is to bow toward God, like this, bow toward God. The symbol of whom 태극기 is on the wall of the room, with the right hand palm on the left heart, like this, or the palms duplicated posture, like this posture, or with the bowing the head posture, as I said before, like this, or like this. Accordingly, there is no hymns or no preachment of the pastors, which can be watched in the general source of religion. Concerning this point, I came to know that those Aryans of the Pleiades star cluster, the inner world of the world, while the aliens living in the Meton planet, which appears in the book Beyond the Light Barrier, 메톤 행성 방문기, translated by Mr. Hangiro and me. This is the 메톤 행성 방문기. This is. Those aliens do not have any religion with a certain religious system, but they always live in truth and always have the communication with the God of the universe. Considering this point of view, the activities which I suggest to you, that is the activity of putting takoki on the wall of your room, and sometimes you salute to the flag, or sometimes you pray to God, and in addition to it, if you discipline your mind and body every day with the comprehensive mind discipline, which is seen for the first time in the global societies, then I think that this can be the most appropriate religious faith or system for the residents of the global village. And this activity will lead all of you to the future destination of the fifth dimension. Quite alarming, isn't it? Another important characteristic is that, as I said just before, it will be good to practice the meditation of the comprehensive mind discipline which Jesus Christ emphasized so much. And thanks to this meditation method, we can go back to the youth and we can become as old as 1,000 or 2,000 years old. And ultimately we can live infinitely. Fourth, presently, if any person belongs to any religion, he can take part in the activities of his religion continuously, of course. However, originally, the true nature of the human being is to seek for the genuine and ultimate truth. And therefore, we can say that the true and original shape of the human being is that of the truth seeker. A human being can be called a truth seeker. Concerning this ultimate truth, I am now suggesting it to the people, and everyone can contact the truth thanks to the internet and cellular phone quite easily. Here, what sort of mind posture can we have concerning the traditional spiritual service for the ancestors? Concerning the spiritual service for the ancestors, it was mentioned in detail already. The religion of the old times of Korea was Shingyo, and it had three parts from the beginning. The first part was the direct religious stream, in which the people had the national spiritual ritual service, 종교신앙, and the other two parts were the indirect ones, composed of the folk religion, 민속신앙, and the exorcist or shaman-type religion, 무속신앙. 무속신앙. All of these rituals came down from the old times to the present times continuously. 제사, which is the spiritual service for the ancestors, belong to the folk-type religion. And this 제사 is similar to other sorts of religions, and it is a sort of combination between the worship of the ancestors and that of God. Therefore, it is possible to continue to have the spiritual service for the ancestors. However, some persons may think that some of their ancestors already started the reincarnation courses because they believe in the theory of the reincarnation. In this case, he or she can put the national flag of takoki on the wall of his room, and sometimes he can salute to takoki instead of the continuation of the spiritual service for the ancestors. Well, you can misunderstand some sentences that I said about just before. Jesus Christ emphasized the meditation, the usual meditation, not my comprehensive mind discipline meditation. Jesus emphasized the common, usual meditation. Today, in the middle of 2025, I'd like to mention 정도령, who is one of the important issues nowadays. This person appears in the various prophecy books of our country, and especially he is mentioned quite a lot in the book 격암유록. This book predicts that he will appear in front of the Korean people as well as the world over in 2024 or 2025, as is described with the phrase of 진사성인출. Then he will solve nearly all the problems which the people of Korea or world meet to the full contentment of them. In order to do that way, he has to manage the nation with the combination of the politics and the spirituality together. However, at the present time, it is doubtful whether there exists such a person who has got the level of capacity, that level of capacity. Therefore, I think that a person who is excellent in the knowledge of the spiritual things, and in addition to it, who can unify or combine himself in a certain statement containing the absolute support of the people, this sort of a person, this sort of a spiritual person can be called 정도령. I think according to the book 격암유록, the certificate of becoming this 정도령 is as following. First, he has to recognize the worship God, and he stays between God and the people. This is expressed as the phrase 우성제야 in the book 격암유록, which means that the person who prays to and communicate with God can be 정도령, as a calf calls its mother cow on the field. This is 우성제야. Therefore, the one who says that he himself is just a God, that is, the one who is the atheist, or the one who is the atheist cannot become 정도령. Once again, I want to say once again, the one who says that he himself is just the God of the universe, or the person who cannot recognize God, that is the person who is the atheist. Two of them cannot become 정도령. Second, this 정도령 is the person who always disciplines his mind and body. In the book of 격암유록, it's described as a 3인일성. And if we concord or combine these Chinese letters together, we can make a letter 수. And this letter 수 means the person who always disciplines his mind and body. By the way, as you know well, I made and developed the comprehensive mind discipline method for the first time in the world. This mind discipline method can make a person go back to his youth, of his 20s or 30s, and he can live until 1,000 or 2,000 years old. And ultimately, he can live infinitely. As I mentioned this method already, if you are interested in this marvelous or astonishing method as well as the result of this discipline, you have only to follow the real bodily postures to you in my moving picture. The Paradise of Earth 8-4 or 8-5. Third, this 정도령 explains how the earth has entered the face of the paradise of the earth, and explains again that in the future, the most important ingredients of the paradise of the 15, 20, or 30 years is that the earth should not have any war among the countries. In addition to it, the people should be liberated from the worries of clothes, food, as well as house, and the right relationship between man and woman has to be set up. 정드렁 explains that the nuclear war among the nations are barred or prohibited by the mutual strategy or statistics of God and the Ajita UFO Corps. And they prohibit the wars with the traditional arms as they send messages to the leaders of each country of the earth. And they want them to have the extreme enduring mind. The problem is to make all the people liberated from the worry about the clothes, food, and house. Concerning this matter, it can be solved by the method of spreading the basic income to all people who have got the right to vote with a limited amount of money every month. And this can be called the dividend money. Dividend money. If I explain this matter, it is as following. In the near future, the global village will enter the phase in which the artificial intelligence, AI, will substitute nearly all the vocations or jobs. And therefore, the system of this basic income is quite imperatively necessary for the people in the future. And Korea will have got this system for the first time on the earth, and 정도령 is going to execute this system to be performed in Korea. Of course, the above-mentioned 정도령 cannot achieve his purpose without the power or ability of God. In other words, God can achieve his purpose through 정도령, who stands between God and the general people. Therefore, it can be said that the great work to make the paradise of the earth can be achieved with the mutual help of both God and 정도령. Lastly, let's think of the relationship between man and woman. My name is Song Mongche. Song is the family name, and Mongche is the real name. The Chinese letter of Mong means dream, and Che means the woman's hairpin, the traditional Korean woman's hairpin. Therefore, this Mong and Che means the man who dreams the traditional man-woman relationship of Korea. As it is, I have been quite sensitive as well as attentive to the man-woman relationship since I was born. And therefore, I have lived my whole life as I put the man-woman relationship in my heart quite with care. I remember that I have not touched even a piece of other woman's hair during the whole life. Fourthly, there is a certificate for becoming 정도령, and as a matter of fact, it is the most important thing. This 정도령 has to get a piece of mental or spiritual ingredient, which is quite good for the paradise that will spread in the future. He has to integrate all sorts of religion. That is, he has to choose the genuine source of universal truth from all kinds of religion and remodel them to create a new trans-sectarian or transcendental religion. The lecture which I have got up till now is just this sort of a religion. Therefore, 정도령 is closely related with me. Well, now is the time when this lecture of mine comes to an end. I wish that the blessing of God would always accompany you. Well, this is not the whole of my lecture, and so I'll begin with a new lecture called The Secret and Mission of the Korean People. It has all 8 rounds, and the title of this lecture is The Secret and Mission of the Korean People 1, 2-1, 2-1, 8-1,